2 million years ago, on the vast savannas of Africa, survival was never promised. With stone in hand, they struck a spark, reshaping the world, one edge at a time. Around the fire, shadows danced, laughter flickered, and a new kind of family was born. In dust and blood, they chased, they killed, they endured. Every heartbeat bought another day. From Africa to the frozen edges of the world, their footsteps echo still. This was the beginning of us all.
Hey guys, today we're not just flipping a page of history, we're tearing through the whole book and stepping into a chapter written millions of years before our time. Feel the heat pressing against your skin. Not the heat of a summer afternoon, you know, but the relentless blaze of an ancient sun that governs every heartbeat of this land. The grass around you sways like restless oceans of gold, carrying scents of dust and life and danger. And as your eyes adjust, you realize you don't belong here. This is Africa, 2 million years ago, a place raw and untamed, where beasts twice your size rule the horizon, and where your only chance to see tomorrow depends on fire, on stone, and on the fragile courage of the group beside you. Around you, your band watches. Eyes gleam with interest, hands reach to try. You pass the stone to another, and soon the rhythm of napping echoes across the savanna. It is a music of survival, sharp and repetitive, a rehearsal for futures they cannot imagine, but you can almost sense. In each fractured stone is the seed of all human technology, future cities, machines, lights that banish night forever. But for now, it is just survival. The fire flickers low, and you sit quietly, listening to the breath of the group around you. The night is cold, the stars brilliant, the silence vast. You feel the weight of every step you and your kind have taken, from the cradle of Africa to the snow of Asia, from the savannas to the caves. You are one small life, one fragile body, but within you beats the endurance of a species that will last for nearly 2 million years. That is longer than any one empire, longer than most creatures who share this earth with you. You do not know the word legacy, but you live it. The tools you shape ripple outward, copied, refined, carried. The fire you guard warms not just this night, but countless nights to come. The migrations you take will scatter your bones across continents, each fossil a marker of where your kind has walked. In the distant future, strangers will uncover those bones, hold them in careful hands, and marvel that you lived, that you endured. They will call you Homo Erectus, upright man, the wanderer, the survivor. Your story is not glamorous. You do not write, you do not build monuments, you do not leave behind songs or paintings. And yet, without you, none of those things could exist. You are the foundation stone. Every city, every work of art, every whisper of philosophy rests on your shoulders. You are the proof that humanity can adapt, can persist, can stretch beyond boundaries. You show that even in a world filled with predators and storms, the spark of life can be carried forward. You watch the fire and think of tomorrow. The hunt will come again, and with it, hunger, danger, and hope. Children will play in the dust. Elders will guide with gestures. The group will move onward. Nothing changes, and yet everything does. Each day repeats, but each day builds something greater. This is how the future is made, not in leaps, but in footsteps, each one pressed into earth, leading forward. One night, long after you are gone, a descendant will stand where you once stood, their forehead higher, their thoughts sharper, their words flowing like rivers. They will look at the stars and give them names. They will paint the walls of caves with animals you once hunted, immortalizing them in color. They will build fires that burn hotter, brighter, controlled by their own hands. They will bury their dead with care, with ritual, with love. They will look back into time, searching for their beginnings, and they will find you waiting. And when they tell your story, it will not be of glory or conquest, but of survival, of how you stood upright in a dangerous world and endured, of how you carried fire across continents, of how you shaped stone with your hands and in doing so, shaped the path of all humanity. Your name will echo, not in words you ever spoke, but in the bones you left behind, the tools you carved, the journey you began. The stars burn above, the fire burns below, and in between sits you, fragile, fleeting, but essential. The echoes of your footsteps stretch forward, unbroken, carrying through ages into futures you cannot imagine. You do not know it, but you are already part of us. And we are still walking in your path. Now the fire softens, collapsing into glowing coals, and the night deepens into silence. The predators have quieted, the wind drifts more gently, and even the insects hush. You sit in the circle of warmth, eyelids heavy, breath steady. The embers fade from orange to red, then to a faint shimmer in the ash. Each spark rises, drifts upward, and disappears into the vast sea of stars. The story slows here, unhurried, like the rhythm of your own breathing. Imagine the group curled close, children pressed against parents, elders resting their heads against stone. The danger is still out there, but for now, it feels distant. The fire holds, the cave protects, the night lulls. You are safe. You are warm. The world outside will turn again tomorrow, filled with hunts and hunger, triumphs and losses. But tonight, there is only this: the hush of fire, the closeness of family, the soft hum of existence. Every sound blends together, weaving a cradle of calm. Night comes fast here. Shadows stretch long, and the air cools. The band gathers in a hollow where rocks and thorny branches keep out some predators. Someone tends the fire carried from yesterday, coaxing the embers into flame with dry grass. Orange light blossoms, and suddenly the dark is not so terrifying. You sit near the fire, legs tucked, heat brushing your skin. Smoke rises, curling into the sky, and sparks drift like stars. This is safety. This is home. Your eyes grow heavier still. The stars blur, the shadows lengthen, and the world begins to dissolve into dream. The long walk continues, but you do not need to take another step. Others will carry the journey forward, just as you have carried it this far. You have done enough, so let go now. Rest easy in the glow of firelight. Let the echoes of ancient footsteps guide you into sleep, slow and gentle. The story fades, the embers dim, and the night folds you into its arms. Sweet dreams. You notice how faces change in firelight, softer, less afraid. The youngest huddles close to the oldest, learning comfort in warmth. A woman pulls marrow from a cracked bone and shares it with a child. Laughter comes, faint and brief, as someone mimics the cry of a bird with exaggerated clumsiness. No words, just sound, but the intention is clear, and the group chuckles. For the first time in the day, you are not hunted, not hungry, not desperate. You are together, and as you lean back, staring at flames that flicker and sway, you sense something else. A restlessness, a drive. It is there in the way feet shuffle at dawn, in the way eyes scan horizons, in the way the group never stays too long in one place. This is not a people meant to settle yet. They are wanderers, drawn outward, beyond the familiar. Already the pull of migration stirs in their bones, though they cannot name it. Across rivers, across deserts, across unknown lands, they will walk and walk and walk. And in their long steps, the story of humanity will begin to stretch across the globe. The fire crackles, the stars wheel silently above, brighter than any you've seen in your own time. And as your eyelids grow heavy, you realize this is just the beginning of the journey, the first chapter of a story, written not in ink, but in footprints, ashes and stone. The fire dies to embers before dawn, and the first thing you feel is the cold, not the chill you know from modern nights under blankets, but a deeper cold that creeps into your bones, reminding you how fragile you are without walls, without shelters, without glass or steel. You shiver, rub your arms, and stand. The air carries the smell of dust and grass, mingled with the faint musk of animals. A faint orange blush on the horizon tells you the sun is coming, and with it, another trial of survival. The landscape that stretches before you is vast, intimidating, and strangely beautiful. Imagine standing at the edge of an ocean of grass, golden blades rippling like waves under the steady push of wind. Here and there, acacia trees rise like umbrellas, their flat canopies marking rare places of shade. Beyond them, the savanna rolls into the haze, where forests cluster in broken patches and rivers wind like snakes of silver. To the west, you see the dark line of volcanic ridges. Their black stones, cooled from ancient eruptions, lie scattered across the land, stones you've chipped and cut to make tools. These rocks carry fire in their hearts, even when they seem cold to the touch. 2 million years ago, the climate is shifting. The earth is caught between rhythms of warmth and cold, the slow pulse of ice, ages beginning to spread across the northern hemisphere. Here in Africa, that means less rain, more open spaces, forests shrinking into pockets. Where once apes swung through branches, now hominids like you walk upright across open ground, exposed to sky and predators alike. The world is changing, forcing you to adapt or die. Predators know this land better than you do. The tall grass that hides your footsteps also conceals crouching shapes, muscles coiled and waiting. A lion's eyes glimmer, gold in the early light. A cheetah flicks its tail, calculating the perfect moment to strike. And more terrifying still, the saber-toothed cat, with fangs that could pierce bone, moves silently through the grass. You do not need to see it to know it's there. The prickling at the back of your neck tells you enough. Each step across this open plain is a gamble, a wager of your life against hunger, thirst, and time. But you are not without defenses. You are not the fastest, nor the strongest, but you can see farther, think longer, last longer. Your eyes catch movement at the edge of vision. Your legs, though slower than an antelope's, can carry you for hours, long after prey has collapsed from exhaustion. Your mind connects patterns, the bent stalk of grass, the faint trace in the soil, the shifting calls of birds. Each detail tells a story. Where others see chaos, you see signs. This is your advantage, fragile but powerful. The quiet weapon that balances the scales between prey and predator. You probably won't survive this, but that's the thrill, isn't it? As the group moves, you feel the pulse of hunger growing stronger. You haven't eaten since yesterday's marrow, and now the craving twists your stomach. berries and roots fill some need, but it is meat you want. Meat that fuels the brain, sharpens the mind, strengthens the body. The smell of decay reaches you first, something dead nearby. Your group follows the scent and finds it, a zebra carcass, half devoured, ribs gleaming white against torn flesh. You approach, but the air is thick with buzzing flies and the sour stench of rot. The hyenas have been here, gnawing the bones, and they may return. You take a quick flake of meat, thin and stringy, swallowing even as bile rises in your throat. Survival is not clean. Survival does not wait for choice. The river lies ahead, a dark ribbon shimmering in the sun. It is both lifeline and danger. You kneel to drink, water cool and sweet on your tongue. Across the bank, antelope graze cautiously, ears twitching at every sound. For a moment, the scene is peaceful, until the surface of the river splits, and the jaws of a crocodile snap shut on an unlucky wildebeest. The scream lasts only a heartbeat before the water churns red. Your group stumbles back, eyes wide. You know now, this river quenches thirst, but it also demands caution. To drink here is always to risk death, and yet the river gives life in more ways than one. Along its banks grow tubers and reeds, edible roots if you know where to dig. Birds nest here, eggs hidden in the grass. Even fish can be caught in the shallows with quick hands and sharp stones. The river is dangerous, but it is also bounty. It is balance, one that you must learn every single day, over and over. Never secure, never easy. The sun rises higher, heat pressing down until the land shimmers. Sweat runs down your back, and you long for shade. Under an acacia, you find brief relief, though the thorns scratch at your skin. Around you, others rest. A child whimpers softly, tired and hungry. An elder coughs, the sound dry and thin. This is life here, short, brutal, demanding. Few live past 30 years. Every wrinkle, every scar, every tooth worn down to stubs is a badge of survival in a world that cares nothing for you. And yet, in the middle of this harshness, there are moments of wonder. Look up, and the sky is endless, so blue it feels eternal. Birds wheel in patterns above you, sharp cries cutting the air. Herds thunder past, hooves drumming the earth, their dust rising like smoke. You stand in awe, aware that you are part of something vast, something beyond you. The land does not know your name, does not mark your passing, but you are here, alive, carving out a fragile place among giants. The day stretches long, and with each passing hour, you sense how precarious this life is. Without tools, without fire, without the group at your side, you would not last a night. But together, you endure. The landscape is your enemy and your ally, your challenge and your teacher. Every stone chipped, every trail followed, every risk taken writes another line in the story of survival. And as you take another step into this vast, merciless world, you understand that to live here is to live on the edge of extinction, yet also at the edge of something new, something human. You feel the ache in your stomach deepen as the day wears on. Hunger is the rhythm of your existence, the drumbeat that pushes every action forward. But today, instead of chasing antelope or waiting for scraps left by lions, your attention turns to the stones lying scattered at your feet. They look ordinary to most eyes, chunks of basalt, flakes of quartzite. But to you, they are more than rocks. They are possibility. You crouch low, holding one stone in your hand. Its weight is reassuring, solid, like something you can trust when the rest of the world feels hostile. You search the ground for another piece, one that feels just right, and then you begin. The first strike is sharp and loud, a crack that echoes across the empty savanna. A sliver of stone jumps away, leaving behind an edge sharp enough to cut skin. Your heart quickens. You strike again, turning the stone, chipping away with rhythm and intent. Each flake that falls is a failure and a triumph, discarded, yet proof that something new is taking shape. This is no accident. This is technology. When the edge is sharp and the shape pleasing, you stop to examine it. The hand axe in your palm is simple, nothing like the blades or machines that will one day define human civilization. But in this moment, it is revolutionary. It is sharper than bone, tougher than wood. It will pierce hide, scrape marrow, slice meat from carcass. It is your shield against the predators that stalk you, and your key to unlocking foods that once lay beyond reach. In your hand is survival, carved from stone. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And tell me in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is right now. I love seeing the world light up with night owls, dawn risers, and those drifting in between. The group gathers as you work, curiosity bright in their eyes. They lean closer, watching the skill in your hands, the sparks of stone against stone. Some reach for their own rocks, fumbling, clumsy, but trying. Slowly, patiently, you guide them, though you have no words. Instead, you show. A gesture here, a nod there, and the rhythm of napping spreads through the group. Soon the air is filled with the sound of cracking rock, a strange music that speaks of a new age beginning. You pick up a flake fallen from the core, thin, sharp, and light. It is no less valuable than the hand axe. This flake can skin an animal, scrape a hide, slice roots. Where once you tore food with teeth and nails, now you hold something keener, more efficient. Every cut you make with it saves strength, saves time, saves lives. And with every cut, your mind stretches further, realizing that tools are not just objects. They are extensions of you, of your body and thought. Later, as the group treks along the dry riverbed, you test your creation. A scavenged carcass lies half hidden in the reeds, the stench heavy in the air. Flies swarm in a cloud, rising angrily as you approach. The hide is tough, baked hard by sun, but with your hand axe, you slice it open. The edge bites, cleaner than your nails ever could. Soon, red meat glistens beneath, and you carve free chunks to share. Blood coats your hands, warm and sticky, but you do not flinch. This is nourishment. This is victory. The group eats, tearing strips with teeth, eyes shining with relief. The stone tool has made this possible, and so stone by stone, survival shifts. Where once you were scavengers picking at leftovers, now you can claim more, take more, keep more. The hand axe and flake give you confidence, give you daring. You can hunt smaller animals, process tougher plants, defend against claws and fangs. With tools, you carve not just food, but time. Time to rest, to think, to notice the world in ways that pure survival never allowed. The sun begins to sink, painting the sky in shades of red and gold. You sit with your hand axe across your lap, feeling its weight, tracing its edge with a cautious thumb. This thing in your hand is more than stone. It is a marker of change, a boundary line between those who came before and those who will come after. Australopithecus held sticks, used bones, maybe broke rocks by chance. But you, Homo erectus, you shape the world with intention. You imagine an edge before it exists, then you make it real. In that act, your mind leaps forward, and you sense dimly that this is only the beginning. Someday, tools will grow smaller, sharper, more precise. Someday, they will be forged from fire and metal, powered by forces you cannot yet dream. Someday, they will build cities, carve mountains, cross oceans, reach the stars. But none of that is possible without this moment, without you hunched in the dust, chipping stone under an endless African sky. Around the fire that night, you share your hand axe with another. They grip it awkwardly at first, then firmly, testing its edge against a branch. Sparks leap from the flames, shadows dance on the rock walls, and in the glow, you see something new in their eyes. Pride, ownership, a spark of invention. The hand axe is not just a tool. It is a gift, one that can be passed from hand to hand, generation to generation, outlasting flesh and memory. As you close your eyes, the sound of stone striking stone lingers in your mind. It is the heartbeat of your people, the rhythm of survival, the first drumbeat of progress echoing across ages. And though you cannot know it yet, the future is being written here, flake by flake, edge by edge, in the language of stone. The morning light is pale when you open your eyes. The fire, reduced to faint orange embers, gives off only a whisper of warmth. Around you, the group stirs slowly, bodies shifting against the hard ground, faces lined with exhaustion. No one speaks, not because silence is chosen, but because words don't yet exist. The language here is movement, the tilt of a chin, the sweep of a hand, the narrowing of eyes. You read each sign as easily as your descendants will one day read letters on a page. And the message is always the same. Hunger. You rise with the others, stretching long limbs, feeling the ache of muscles, still sore from yesterday's trek. The sun climbs quickly, and with it comes the urgency of finding food. Hunger gnaws steadily, not the occasional pangs you know from skipped meals, but a constant pressure, an intimate reminder that life here is measured in calories burned and calories found. You carry your stone tool in one hand, the rough edge biting your palm, a reassurance that you are not entirely helpless. Now, dim the lights. Maybe let a fan hum in the background, and let's step quietly together into this long-forgotten world. The group begins to move, following the familiar paths through tall grass. A child points to a tree heavy with figs, their purple skins dark against the leaves. You scramble up, hands gripping rough bark, legs braced, heart pounding with the effort. At the top, you pluck the fruit, warm from the sun, and drop them one by one to waiting hands below. Juice bursts in your mouth when you take the first bite, sweet and tart, a reprieve from the dryness of roots and marrow. But it is not enough. Fruit spoils quickly. Meat lasts. Meat fuels. Meat transforms. Tracks along the ground catch your attention. Hooves pressed deep into the soil, moving in a loose line. Antelope. You crouch, tracing the prints with a finger, reading the story they tell. They passed not long ago, heading toward water. You signal to the others, and they follow, a small band moving with quiet determination. The air hums with tension. Every hunt is a gamble, and failure means another day of hunger. Hours pass, the sun blazes, your throat parches, but still you follow. At last, you see them, a herd grazing near the edge of the river, bodies sleek, horns sharp. The group spreads, circling wide, eyes fixed, tools ready. This is no sudden ambush. This is endurance. One of you gives a sharp cry, a sound that startles the herd into flight. Hooves pound, dust rises, and you run. Your legs are long, made for this. Step after step, breath after breath you chase. Not faster, but steadier. The antelope bolts, leaps, twists, but it cannot keep such pace forever. Sweat darkens its hide. Its stride falters, its chest heaves. You do not stop. You run until the creature stumbles, collapsing, muscles trembling with exhaustion. Then you're upon it. The stone edge flashes, rough but deadly. The kill is brutal, bloody, messy. You feel life spill hot across your hands, the smell of iron filling the air. The group descends, sharp flakes slicing through hide, teeth tearing at flesh. A chorus of grunts and heavy breathing surrounds you. Hunger drives out hesitation. Within minutes, red meat is shared, devoured, clutched close, as if it might vanish. For the first time today, the gnawing emptiness eases. As the sun dips, you return to camp, stomach heavy, arms stained. The fire is coaxed back to life, flames licking skyward as the night deepens. Shadows stretch long, dancing against the rock walls that shelter you. Children gnaw on bones, cracking them open for marrow. Elders sit close to the fire, faces calm in the glow. There is no feast, no celebration, only the quiet satisfaction of survival bought for another day. Around the fire, gestures become stories. One points toward the horizon, mimics the leap of the antelope, then the collapse. Others laugh softly, nodding, reenacting the moment of triumph. It is not language yet, but it is something close, a rhythm of meaning passed from one mind to another. In these movements lies the seed of narrative, the first flicker of human imagination. The night is alive with sound. Hyenas call from the distance, their eerie laughter rising and falling. Lions roar, deep and resonant, claiming the dark as theirs. The firelight pushes them back, but the awareness of their presence never leaves you. You glance into the shadows often, every crack of branch sending a shiver through your spine. The group huddles close, comfort in numbers, eyes bright in the glow. You lie down at last, head resting on your arm, the day replaying behind your closed eyes. The run, the dust, the blood, the sweetness of figs, the satisfaction of meat, the weight of stone in your palm. It is a cycle you know will repeat again tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that. Wake, hunger, hunt, eat, rest. Life pared down to its most basic rhythm, a steady beat echoing across the savannah. And yet, within that rhythm, something grows, a faint awareness that you are shaping the world, not just enduring it. That with fire and stone, with endurance and memory, you are carving out a place in this harsh land. You are more than prey. You are more than animal. You are something in between, balanced on the edge of becoming. The fire burns low again, but this time you wake not to hunger or fear, but to the sound of breathing all around you. The group is pressed close, bodies forming a circle, heads tilted toward the warmth at the center. In the hush of dawn, before the world stirs, you feel the pulse of something greater than survival. It is the bond of the group, the family that is not only blood, but necessity. Without them, you would not last. Without you, they would be weaker too. The wind smells of dust and distant rain. You take a cautious step into this world of fire and stone, where survival depends on instincts sharpened by danger and chance. 2 million years ago, the earth was in flux. Ice Age cycles had begun to tug at the planet, cooling and drying large swaths of the land. Grasslands stretched wider, forests shrank, and animals that had once hidden in dense canopies now roamed open plains. This was the theater of survival, where Homo erectus first walked tall. Their posture straighter, their gaze more forward than the ones who came before. And here you are, invited into their story. The child beside you stirs, a small hand reaching instinctively for your arm. Their skin is soft, their fingers clutching tight. You smile, though you have no words for the feeling. Care is not yet language, but it is action. Sharing warmth, offering food, protecting against the dark. Around you, bonds are woven every day in gestures and gifts. A piece of fruit pressed into another's hand. A marrow-rich bone shared instead of hoarded. A touch that reassures when shadows lengthen. The group numbers perhaps 20, no more. Too many mouths would starve, too few hands would falter. Within this fragile balance lies the rhythm of life. Men and women, young and old, each has a place. The younger ones climb trees with agility, plucking fruit, chasing small animals. The older women know where roots lie hidden, where water pools after rain. Strong hunters bring meat when they can, yet their role is not supreme. All tasks weave together into one fabric, each strand vital, each break a thread. You sit beside an elder, their hair sparse, skin drawn tight over bone. Their eyes are clouded, but their presence is weighty. They have lived long, which in this time means they have learned much. They know which plants soothe a wound, which paths lead to water, which stones flake best into tools. Their knowledge is not spoken, but shown, passed through imitation. When you watch their hands, you are watching a library older than words. Children tumble in the dust, their laughter high-pitched and wild. They chase one another with sticks, mimic the gestures of hunters, pretend to fall dramatically, then spring up again with gleeful cries. They learn by play, just as you once did. Every stumble teaches balance, every scraped knee a lesson in caution. And in their games, you see more than practice. You see imagination. They pretend, they rehearse, they create. In their play, the future begins to bloom. The bonds of the group stretch beyond blood. Not every child belongs to the woman who carries them. Not every elder shares your line. But food passes freely, shelter is shared, danger met together. This is not yet culture, but it is more than instinct. It is the beginning of something like society. A fragile net that catches the vulnerable, that holds you together against the merciless world outside. In the heat of midday, you gather in shade. Some groom one another, picking insects from hair, soothing scratches with gentle fingers. This intimacy is more than hygiene. It is trust, woven in the press of touch. A hand resting on your shoulder means safety. A palm held open means peace. These are gestures that one day will become greetings, rituals, customs. But for now, they are survival made tender. Even in this hard world, affection exists. A man leans close to a woman, their heads bent together as they share a scrap of meat. A child crawls into an elder's lap, lulled to sleep by the slow rhythm of their chest. Bonds of care form, dissolve, reform. Nothing is permanent, yet everything matters in the moment. These connections are fragile threads, but they hold the group steady against the chaos of life. And then there is loss. A child weakened by fever, skin hot, eyes distant. The group gathers around, helpless. There are no cures here, no medicines beyond what plants might offer. They cradle the child, hum soft sounds, offer water, but still the breath fades. When at last the body lies still, silence falls, heavier than stone. The group does not bury with ritual, does not speak prayers, but they linger. They touch the child's hair, sit in stillness, stare into the distance. It is grief without words, but grief nonetheless. In that shared silence, you glimpse the roots of something profoundly human. Morning. As the sun sets, painting the sky in bands of orange and violet, you feel the group's closeness more deeply than the hunger in your belly or the ache in your legs. This is not a world where one survives alone. This is a world where the group is everything. The reason you eat, the reason you endure, the reason you rise each morning to face predators and storms and endless miles. You look around the fire, see faces shining in its glow. Some young, some old, some weary, some laughing. In their eyes is reflection. In their gestures is connection. You know, without needing words, that here is where you belong. And in that belonging, you sense a spark that will one day become civilization itself. The understanding that together, you are stronger than alone. Your body feels different in this time. Taller, heavier bones, long legs meant for distance. The heat presses against you, but your stride is steady. Behind you, a small band follows, faces marked by shadows and firelight, not words. They grunt, they gesture, and somehow you understand hunger, danger, the need to move. Theirs is a world of signals, not sentences. But the bond between you is stronger than speech. The night closes in like a predator, thick and heavy, with sounds that never cease. Hyenas shriek in the distance, their laughter jagged and cruel, while the low rumble of lions rolls like thunder across the plain. Owls cry from the trees, and insects sing their endless chorus. The dark is alive, and it does not care if you live or die. But here, in this small circle of flame, you have carved out an island of safety. The fire is not yours by invention. Not yet. It came from a tree struck by lightning or from the aftermath of a wildfire that blackened the hills. You did not create it, but you have learned to tend it. You feed it dry grass, twigs, branches. You shield it with stones, guard it against rain, keep it alive even as you sleep. It is a fragile miracle, borrowed from the world, but cradled as if it were your own child. Lose it, and you return to fear. Keep it, and you hold power. Tonight, the flames rise tall, shadows stretching long across the ground. You sit close, heat brushing your skin, the smell of smoke clinging to your hair. The fire paints every face in shifting light, revealing cheekbones, foreheads, eyes that gleam like embers. The youngest stare wide-eyed, mesmerized by the dance of orange and gold. Their hands reach toward the warmth, fingers spread, as if trying to grasp the fire itself. The elders sit still, solemn, as though they understand that this fragile light is the thread keeping death at bay. You notice how the fire changes everything. Without it, night is terror, filled with eyes that watch from the dark. With it, the predators hesitate. You hear them beyond the ring of light, snapping twigs, rustling grass, but they do not come closer. Fire is your shield, your fortress, your weapon. It is the boundary between the world that devours and the world you claim as your own. As the flames flicker, gestures begin to weave meaning. One man points into the dark, curls his fingers like claws, bares his teeth. Another leaps back, feigning fear. Laughter ripples through the group. Then a woman rises, mimicking the stalk of a lion, creeping low, pouncing suddenly toward a child. The child squeals, the others howl with delight. It is theater, but also teaching. Lessons of predators, rehearsed in play, made safe by firelight. The shadows on the walls join in, looming and shrinking, adding their own performance to the night. The fire also transforms what you eat. A scrap of meat held over the flame sizzles, fat dripping, sparks flying. The smell is intoxicating, richer than raw flesh. The taste is sweeter, softer, easier to chew. Cooking does more than fill the stomach. It releases more energy, more strength, more thought. Around this fire, brains will grow, bodies will change, futures will be written. You do not know it, but each bite is evolution taking shape in real time. For a moment, silence falls. Only the crackle of the fire remains. Eyes are half closed, bodies lean into one another, exhaustion pressing down. Yet the fire keeps you awake, keeps you watching. The flames hypnotize, drawing you inward. You see shapes in the shifting glow, faces of animals, figures of ancestors, patterns that spark imagination. Perhaps this is the first art, the first dreaming, born not from caves or paint, but from firelight flickering on stone walls. You glance at the stars above. Without city lights, the sky is alive with brilliance, each pinprick sharp and infinite. The band of the Milky Way arches overhead, vast and humbling. You do not know their names, but you feel their pull. The fire on earth mirrors the fire in the sky, both burning, both eternal. You sense a connection, though you cannot explain it. It is the beginning of wonder, the earliest stirrings of a question that will one day drive philosophers, priests, and scientists. What lies beyond? A log collapses in the fire, sparks leaping high, scattering into the night. Some drift upward, fading into darkness, like tiny stars breaking free. A child claps hands, delighted. You smile, warmed not only by flame, but by the closeness of those around you. This is safety. This is comfort. This is home, however temporary, however fragile. The fire hums with promise. In its light, you are more than an animal hiding from predators. You are a keeper of something sacred, something that lifts you above the beasts and closer to the humans yet to come. Fire is not just survival, it is identity. And as you watch it burn, casting shadows that dance on the walls of the night, you understand that within this fragile glow lies the heart of what you will become. Everywhere you look, the land reminds you that it doesn't belong to you. Herds of antelope gather in the distance, horns glinting. Elephants, smaller than the giants of earlier ages, yet still formidable, trample through dry riverbeds, and predators wait. A saber-toothed cat crouches low in the grass, its fangs like ivory knives, patient as stone. You freeze, heart pounding, until the wind shifts and the predator melts away into shadows. For now, you are spared. Dawn comes quietly, pale and cold, the fire reduced again to a breath of embers. The group rises slowly, shaking dust from hair and rubbing sleep from their eyes. Hunger murmurs, but something stronger hums beneath it. Restlessness. You feel it in your legs, in the way your gaze lingers on the horizon. The savannah has fed you, sheltered you, tested you, but it is never enough. The pull to move farther, to see what lies beyond, is stronger than comfort. This instinct to wander is not new. Even your ancestors shifted camps, chasing herds, following water. But now the journeys lengthen. The world is changing. Droughts dry rivers. Herds shift their paths. Forests vanish where they once thrived. Staying means starvation. Moving means chance. And so, step by step, you begin the long walk out of Africa. At first, the journey feels familiar. The same grasslands, the same predators stalking from the shadows. But as you travel north, the land begins to change. The air grows cooler, the rains less predictable. Hills rise where plains once stretched, and rivers cut deeper channels through stone. You cross valleys where volcanic ash still lingers, grey and soft underfoot, a reminder of fire that once shook the earth. Each step carries you farther from the cradle that birthed you and deeper into the unknown. The group swells and shrinks, bands joining together for a time, then splitting apart again. New faces appear, strangers who look like you, yet not quite. Their foreheads slope differently, their limbs built for slightly different terrain. They grunt in ways you don't entirely understand, but over shared fire and shared meat, bonds are woven. For the first time, you see that you are not alone in the world. The family of humankind is already branching, splitting, experimenting. And you are part of that story. The walk is endless. Days blur into weeks, weeks into seasons. You follow herds across dry plains, wait out storms in caves, cross rivers chest-deep with the current tugging at your legs. Your feet crack and bleed, yet still you move. The children are carried until they grow strong enough to walk. The elders lean on staffs, each step heavy but determined. This is not a journey of one lifetime, but of many. Generations pass, each leaving footprints that lead the next farther along the trail. You cross the Sinai, the narrow land bridge that links Africa to the vast unknown beyond. The air here smells different, the light falling at a strange angle. You do not know it, but you are leaving the continent of your birth forever. Ahead lies Asia, with its forests and mountains, its deserts and storms. A new world, waiting, though it does not wait kindly. In Georgia, at Dmanisi, you leave traces, skulls that will one day be dug from the soil, teeth that will be studied under bright lights by distant descendants. In China, you will become Peking man, bones buried deep in caves, fire-blackened stones lying beside you. In Indonesia, on the island of Java, your kind will scatter fossils across the banks of rivers, forever tying your story to faraway lands. You do not know these names, cannot imagine these maps, but your footsteps are already inscribing them into history. The world beyond Africa is harsher. Winters bite with cold your skin has never known. Snow drifts in forests, where silence falls heavier than darkness. You huddle close to fire, shivering, wrapping skins around your shoulders. You learn to shelter in caves, to endure long months when food is scarce and days are short. The rhythm of survival shifts, adapting to seasons that demand patience and endurance beyond anything you have known. And yet wonder accompanies hardship. You see rivers so wide, they shimmer like endless mirrors. You cross deserts where stars blaze in skies untouched by clouds. You climb hills that reveal horizons so vast they steal your breath. Each new land carries danger, but also possibility. There is always something beyond the next ridge, the next valley, the next horizon, and you cannot resist the pull to go there. This walk, this migration, is not a choice, but a destiny written into your bones. To wander is to survive. To move is to live. And with each step, you extend the reach of your species, scattering seeds of humanity across continents. The world is no longer just Africa. It is all of Earth, slowly becoming your home. The sun arcs higher, relentless, Hunger gnaws. You remember the fire from last night, the sparks that danced, the warmth that kept the darkness at bay. Fire is not yours yet. You cannot summon it at will. But lightning, volcanoes, the smoldering heart of the earth sometimes gift it to you. And when you have it, you guard it like life itself. A burning branch is cradled like a child, transported from camp to camp, never allowed to die. Lose it, and you return to helplessness, vulnerable again to cold and beasts and night. By the time the stars return that night, you have walked farther than your ancestors ever dreamed. You sit by a new fire in a new land under the same endless sky. The flames flicker, the shadows dance, the predators circle just out of sight. Yet here, thousands of miles from where you began, you feel the same comfort, the same warmth, the same fragile safety. Home is no longer a place. Home is the group, the fire, the journey itself. The land you enter is unfamiliar, and the air itself feels different. The heat of Africa has thinned into something sharper, colder, biting at your skin. The rains come less often, the winds cut harder. Where once tall grass spread endlessly, now forests close in with dark trunks and thick canopies. The smells are strange: pine, wet earth, snow. You take a step, and the ground crunches beneath your feet, white crystals spreading in every direction. You have never seen snow before. It dazzles in the sunlight, cold against your hands, melting into water on your tongue. It is beautiful, but also cruel. The cold presses into your bones until your teeth chatter, your fingers stiffen. Fire becomes more important now than ever before. Without it, the night here would kill you. But it is not only the cold that challenges you. The animals are different too. Gone are the antelope and zebras of the savanna. Here, mammoths roam, towering and shaggy, their tusks curving like ivory scythes. Woolly rhinoceroses snort clouds of steam into the frigid air. Huge deer with antlers wider than your body crash through the underbrush. They are magnificent, powerful, and dangerous. To hunt them requires courage and cooperation beyond what you have ever known. You stalk them slowly, tools in hand. Your body trembles from the cold, but you press forward. The group surrounds, drives the animal toward a ravine, shouting, throwing stones, brandishing firebrands. The creature panics, stumbles, falls, and the kill is made. The meat will last for weeks, the hides will warm you, the bones will be shaped into tools. It is victory, but it is never easy. Many hunts end in failure. Sometimes a hunter is gored, crushed, left broken on the ground. The screams echo long after the mammoth has fled. In this new land, triumph and tragedy walk side by side. The predators are different too. In the forests, cave lions prowl, larger than any you knew before. Hyenas grow massive, bone-crushing jaws echoing in the night. Bears stalk the rivers, their bulk a shadow even in daylight. The saber-toothed cats are here as well, patient and deadly, eyes glinting as they wait for weakness. The fire still pushes them back, but not always. Some nights you hear the scream of another band carried off into the dark, their fire scattered, their voices silenced. Survival here demands vigilance like never before, and yet you endure. The caves become your allies. You settle in their mouths, stacking stones to narrow the entrance, gathering wood to feed the flames within. The walls close around you, damp and echoing, but safe. In the firelight, you notice the shapes the smoke makes against the stone. the way the flickering shadows resemble animals and spirits. Sometimes you trace lines in the dirt with a stick, copying the curve of a mammoth's tusk, the leap of a deer. It means nothing yet, but it is something more than instinct. It is memory, trying to take shape. Your life is harder here, but your mind grows sharper. To survive the cold, you must plan. To hunt giants, you must cooperate. To endure hunger, you must remember where food lies, when seasons shift, how paths change. Each hardship presses you further, chiseling your thoughts into something stronger. Your body adapts too, skins wrapped around your shoulders, fires built bigger, shelters made sturdier. What began as endurance becomes innovation. Every challenge in this foreign land is also a lesson, every danger a teacher, and still, wonder remains. At night, you step from the cave and gaze at the sky. The stars here feel closer, brighter, as though the cold air sharpens their light. You watch the breath of mammoths drift upward like smoke, vanishing into constellations. You hear rivers frozen in silence, only to roar again when spring comes. You feel the turning of seasons, harsh but reliable. A cycle you come to know as well as your own heartbeat. You may not know it, but you are the first to claim this world beyond Africa. Your footprints press into snow, into mud, into sand. They scatter across Asia, into Europe, onto islands surrounded by restless sirs. They remain long after your bones have turned to dust, evidence that you walked, that you endured. You are more than a survivor now. You are an explorer, a conqueror of landscapes no ancestor had seen before. But even as you marvel, you understand. Every step forward is also a trial. This new world does not welcome you. It demands everything, your strength, your wit, your unity. One mistake, one lapse, and you vanish into its cold silence. Still, you press on. Because to stop is to die and to move is to live. You reach down and pick up a stone. It is rough, heavy, ordinary. But to you, it holds promise. You strike it against another, chipping away flakes until a crude edge appears. The sound is sharp, each fracture a spark of possibility. The ache in your hands is real, but so is the triumph. In that moment, you have reshaped the world, bent it a little closer to your will. This hand axe, ugly and simple, is your lifeline. With it, you can slice meat, scrape hides, dig roots, defend against fangs. With it, you are no longer prey alone. You are something more. And so the march continues, fire carried in hands, tools clutched tight, children bundled close. The world is vast, filled with dangers unending. But you are Homo Erectus, the walker, the builder, the wanderer. This is your destiny, not just to endure, but to spread, to carve your existence across every horizon. The hunt is never without risk. You know this as you follow the herd, stone axe clutched tight, body lean with effort. Each step could be your last. The mammoth may fall, or it may turn and crush you beneath its weight. The rhinoceros may flee, or it may lower its horn and charge. Hunger drives you forward, but fear is never far behind. Out here, death is always watching. One evening, the group returns without all of its members. A hunter lies in the dust, ribs broken, breath shallow. The wound festers quickly, fever burning hot. You sit beside him, wipe sweat from his brow with trembling hands, but there is no cure. No herbs or charms can pull him back. His eyes dull, his chest rises and falls more slowly. And then, nothing. The silence is crushing. You stare at the stillness, at the way life leaves the body, like smoke vanishing into night. There are no words, no prayers, but grief is there all the same. The group gathers close, touching the body, brushing hair from the face. Some turn away, unable to watch. Others linger, rocking gently, low sounds rising in their throats. They do not bury him in ritual, but they do not abandon him either. They sit in silence, letting the moment weigh heavy. The first sparks of mourning flicker in this quiet gathering. You do not understand it, but you feel it, the ache of absence, the strangeness of a face gone cold. Children die too, their small bodies too fragile for the harshness of this world. A fever sweeps through, a cough grows deeper, and soon they are gone. Mothers cradle them long after breath has left, refusing to release the weight from their arms. The group waits, patient, as if to honor the grief. You watch, heart tightening, because you know it could be any of you next. Death here is not distant. It is a shadow that walks beside you every day. Even when the body is gone, traces remain. A cracked skull buried in soil, teeth worn from years of gnawing roots, bones scattered where predators fed. You leave behind more than footprints. You leave behind fossils, fragments that will one day tell your story to eyes you cannot imagine. They will find you in caves, in riverbeds, in volcanic ash. They will name you, classify you, study you. But for now, you are simply gone, carried away by time and silence. Yet even in death, there is legacy. Children who survive carry your fire forward. They mimic your ways, learn from your hands, shape stones as you once did. They tell your story in gestures around the fire, in laughter and play. You live on in their memory, though memory here is fragile, fading quickly in the rush of survival. Still, something endures. The shape of the tool you carved, the path you walked, the skills you taught. In this, you are not forgotten. You notice how mortality shapes the group. Every loss pulls you closer together. You share more, protect more, linger longer by the fire. The awareness of death sharpens the value of life. Each day alive feels like defiance, each child's laughter like triumph. Even without words, you understand that your time is short, but your story stretches beyond you. The fire crackles one night, and you catch your reflection in the eyes of another. You wonder, though you cannot name the thought, what it means to exist, to breathe now and vanish later. You wonder if the stars above, so constant, so eternal, hold answers you will never reach. These thoughts are shadows, half-formed, fleeting. But they are there. In them lies the beginning of questions, of philosophy, of belief. Mortality is the constant, the weight pressing against every moment. But in its shadow, something new takes root. Legacy. You sense that your kind will endure longer than the beasts that stalk you, longer even than the stones you strike together. The world will change, but your fire, your tools, your footsteps will echo. You are not eternal, but the story you began is.